Okay, let's take a look at departmental accounting. This first part takes a look at getting down to gross profit percentage in the various departments. Now we have departmental accounting because we want to separate out the information about the revenues and expenses of each department. So in other words, I don't just want the total sales for the store and the total cost of goods sold for the whole store. I want each department. Generally, there may be a manager, a separate manager for each department, and I have to be able to judge how that particular manager is doing, how that particular department is doing. So for planning, control, and performance evaluation, we're going to use this departmental accounting. Generally, this is only used for these internal type of financial statement users, for management, in other words. We're not going to post the departmental accounting numbers for investors and creditors. And generally, we're only talking about the income statement that we're doing with departmental accounting. We're not going into the balance sheet, statement of owner's equity, etc. So when we talk about gross profit, we know that that's an extremely important number. We need the gross profit not just for the whole store, but for each department. That means we've got to have a way to record the sales and the cost of goods sold for each separate department, whether we're using some kind of cash register or whether we're using some kind of accounting software. We have to have a way to program that so that the sales and cost of goods sold for each department is recorded. Then we can consider each department's gross profit percentage, because we can take the gross profit for each department divided by the sales, and that gives us the gross profit percentage. And we also call that their margin, the departmental margin. And that is used a lot for comparing different departments that are different sizes. If I have Department 1 is real large and Department 2 is small, then the total dollars of each department, and we're trying to say, oh, well, Department 1's manager did a great job because they have bigger dollars. Well, yeah, it's a bigger department. Okay, so if we want to really be able to see how well a department did, we look more at the percentage rather than at the actual total dollars. Here is an example in which we have Annie Sporting Goods, and this is their income statement, and you'll notice at the top we have our sales, net sales, minus our cost of goods sold is our gross profit. Annie's has two departments, the golf department, sells a bunch of golf equipment, and their tennis department. And then here's the total for the store over to the right. And so the sales of golf equipment was $1,075,000. Sales of tennis was $640,300. So obviously the tennis department is much smaller than the golf department, but it's still a good department, and we carry lots. Here's our cost of goods sold, and of course we subtract sales minus cost of goods sold to get the gross profit for each department. And again, all the way down, tennis is a smaller department than golf. So what we're going to do is actually calculate out the percentage. So by taking gross profit divided by the sales of golf, we get 49.3%. If I take the tennis, $219,400 gross profit, divided by the tennis sales of $640,300, then I will get the tennis gross profit percentage of 34.3%. Now I can compare golf and tennis. and I can say, okay, the tennis gross profit percentage is lower than the golf percentage. Now, this may be for a variety of reasons. It could be that the cost of tennis equipment to us, we can't put up as high a markup on it as we can with golf equipment. It could be that there are decreasing numbers of tennis players, and so we have to sell stuff at more of a discount. And golf is, the golf people are more diehard, and we don't have to discount stuff as much. It could be a variety of reasons, but it could also be that the tennis department manager is not managing this inventory as well as the golf department manager, because you would want to see the percentages to be more similar. Okay, another thing that we can look at is the actual departmental operating expenses. And so these are the expenses that each department has. Now, here's our formula for the income statement that we learned from from Accounting 101, and we've discussed it many times in Accounting 102, where we take our sales minus our cost of goods sold. That gives us gross profit. From there, we're subtracting out our operating expenses, and that gives us operating income. Now, on an income statement that's going out to creditors and investors, we would then add and subtract other income and other expenses to get down to net income. But here for management, we're not concerned about that other stuff. The managers, on the whole, don't have any control over that stuff. We're trying to get down to what does each manager have control over. And so operating income is one of the more important things for managers. So we're going to not only have to record each department's sales and cost of goods sold, but each department's operating expenses that belong to only that department. But after we do all that, there's still going to be some operating expenses that apply to the store as a whole. Like, what about rent expense? We pay rent for the entire building. So that doesn't belong to just one department. So those kind of expenses, we're going to have to come up with some logical method to divide them up, to allocate them to each separate department. So we have some operating expenses that trace directly to an individual department. Let's say there was wages expense for an employee that worked only in the golf department. That would be an operating expense that traces directly to the golf department. And we have some operating expenses that belong to the business as a whole, like rent expense. Those have to be divided out between golf and tennis. They have to be allocated. Okay? So we need to modify our formula for operating income a little bit. Okay? We have those, in fact, two classifications of operating expenses that we just talked about. The ones that are traceable directly to a specific department already. And they're assigned to that department based on the actual expense we had. So if we have a wage expense for somebody that works only in golf, then that would be assigned, that wage, the gross wages would be assigned to the golf department. And we call those direct operating expenses. Now then we have the indirect operating expenses. Those are the ones that are incurred for the benefit for the business as a whole. They cannot be traced directly to a specific department. We have to allocate them by some logical method. So here's our modified formula for that operating income per department as opposed to operating income for the whole store. So we have the sales of a particular department minus the cost of goods sold of that department is the gross profit of that department. Then we're going to subtract out the direct, the traceable operating expenses from gross profit, and we're going to get something called direct operating margin. Then we're going to subtract out any indirect operating expenses that we are allocating to that department, and then we'll finally get that department's operating income.